Thanks for listening to the Pop Culture Cosmos and the PCC Multiverse. Check out more great podcasts today on one of these awesome affiliate networks.
You're listening to a Weeby Geeks Network podcast.
You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
The Tangibound Network. Check it out. TangiboundNetwork.com. Listen to this show, the latest episode, every time.
A proud member of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other geeky podcasts over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Josh here from the Pop Culture Cosmos, and I am returning to you guys with another game review. This time around, it is the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. If you read my review, it is called Sometimes You Can Go Home Again.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.
I have a confession to make. As a child, I never owned a Nintendo 64. My first console was a Sega Genesis. One year for Christmas, I told my mom that I wanted a Nintendo 64 because all of my friends were playing Mario Kart 64 and Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. On Christmas morning, what I got instead was a video game console that I hadn't even heard of. When my mom went to the store to buy me an N64, the guy behind the counter at Sears told her that the Sony PlayStation was going to be the next big thing. Though I wasn't sure about it at the time, he had a point. If you remember the original PlayStation, instead of giving you a whole game with a new console, they gave you a demo disc containing the first few hours of several games. On this demo disc was a game featuring a small purple dragon by the name of Spyro, and Spyro had been tasked with freeing his fellow dragons from stone in pursuit of Nasty Nork. I played that demo obsessively for months until I finally saved up enough money to buy the actual game, and the rest was history. Alright, 20 years later, after his debut on PlayStation, Spyro the Dragon has spread his wings across several different consoles and even more generations of gamers. Through his solo adventures, team-ups with Crash Bandicoot, and his appearances in Skylanders, both the game and the television show, Spyro has scorched his place into the hearts of just about everybody who has ever picked up a controller. As much as I enjoyed the fact that kids were having as much fun with Spyro as I did when I was their age, they were never quite able to recapture the magic of the original 3 games, though arguably only 2 of those were good. Then, last year, they made the announcement that nostalgia lovers all over the world were hoping for. In the wake of the success of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Toys for Bob revealed that there was a Spyro Reignited Trilogy on the way, and even better, it was going to release sometime before the end of 2018. Having played this remaster from start to finish, I can assure you that it was well worth the 20 years it took to take us back to Avalar and the worlds beyond. I'm going to keep this brief because there's not a lot to talk about in terms of the games themselves that haven't already been discussed during the release of the originals. To start, let's talk about the original classic, Spyro the Dragon, because I tend to have a biased opinion when it comes to this game, because it's awesome. This was naturally my favorite of the 3. Gone are the rough pixels and non-connected angles, and instead everything has been remastered in beautiful colors using the magic of the Unreal Engine. Where there was flat green before, there's now moving blades of grass. Some of the audio from the various dragons you released throughout the game was even re-recorded to say more than just, "Thank you for releasing me." Of course, the egg thieves are still a nagging pain in the butt. However, once you manage to get back into the control scheme of the game, they become progressively easier. Speaking of controls, the first thing I noticed when picking up the controller and playing this game was that my reflexes are nothing like they were when I was a kid. Manipulating that camera while chasing Norks around was an exercise in frustration for the first few hours. Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage is a far departure from its predecessor. While I enjoyed this game, there are many elements to it that I didn't. For example, I didn't like the whole orb feature, or I suppose I would have liked it more if there were less of them. I also miss having more worlds to play through. If I remember correctly, there were only 3 in this one, though I think all the levels balanced out in the end when compared to the original. Also, I don't remember the bosses being as difficult as they were, but again, my reflexes aren't what they used to be. In terms of looks, much like the first one, this remaster is stunningly beautiful, and though it has a tendency to look like a DreamWorks animated film in parts, it's a lot less glitchy and easier to look at for extended periods of time. The coloring on the original games was always very dark. The lighter shades definitely give this game a more aesthetically pleasing look. I'll be real forward with you, I've never been a huge fan of Spyro Year of the Dragon. I think it's because by the time this one came out, I was starting to outgrow Spyro a little. I know, how can one outgrow Spyro the Dragon? Well, With more grown-up games like Final Fantasy VIII and IX demanding my full attention, and also several hours of my life, I'm afraid I had little time I could devote to this one. I'm not even sure I played it all the way through when it was first released. So assuming this was my first time playing it from start to finish, I can say that it looks great, but it's not quite sure what it wants to be. Does it want to be a Spyro the Dragon game, or does it want to be a bunch of mini-games wrapped in a Spyro the Dragon story? There's far too many characters to play as, and far too much going on. I'm not sure if this was due to Sony attempting to create more console mascots, or if they are running out of ideas for where to take everybody's favorite purple dragon. Toys for Bob did an incredible job bringing these games back to life. They're beautifully animated, the audio sounds great. If it wasn't a remaster, it could easily become one of the best original pieces of content on modern consoles. After playing through it, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to see what else I might have missed out on. I know there are several other Spyro games that came out on other consoles like Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, Spyro A Hero's Tale, Spyro Shadow Legacy, and a couple of Crash Bandicoot crossovers. I don't know if Toys for Bob and Activision have any plans when it comes to those games, but I would be more than interested to play them if they were re-released or remastered in some form. If you're looking for a good game to help you unwind at the end of the day, or perhaps you're in the market for a walk down memory lane, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy is exactly what you're looking for. I played this on an Xbox One, and I scored at an 8.5 out of 10.
Looking for an edge the next time you take on your favorite video game? Then check out Vitabrace High Performance Gamer Wristbands. Packed with the power of fruit seed oil, Vitabrace is clinically proven to help improve performance, giving you a better gaming experience. Head to miraclefruitoil.com and use the promo code MEDIA10 to get $10 off your Vitabrace purchase. Whether you're looking to beat the time on your latest speedrun or are fighting your way to the top on your favorite multiplayer or battle royale, Vitabrace can help you reach your gaming goals. Buy Vitabrace today at miraclefruitoil.com. That's miraclefruitoil.com. Vitabrace. Win with it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find more reviews and great episodes of our podcast, the Pop Culture Cosmos Show, and the PCC Multiverse, you can find them on Apple Podcasts, podcast.com, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and other great podcasting outlets around the globe. Also, we would love if you could follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even click the old subscribe button on YouTube. All right, cool, guys. Until next time, it's been a pleasure.
So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Greetings, Starfighters. It's Sean from the Rusted Robot Podcast. Join me and the Rusty crew as we break down the latest geeky movie trailers, talk about TV, comics, toys, games, casting news, and all things nerdy. Find us on all your favorite podcast apps, the ESO Network, and at therustedrobot.podbean.com. The Rusted Robot Podcast, your source for geek since 2014.
The Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Tangent Bound Network. Let your voice be heard. TangentBoundNetwork.com.
Thanks so much for downloading the Pop Culture Cosmos, and stay tuned as more great podcasts are on the way. Thanks again for listening to us here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.